Okay, so yesterday we covered the two reasons why we need to make an effort. And one of them is that it's a test to see if the person is going to serve God or disobey him based on his choice, that Hashem gives us free choice. And the second reason is that if a person didn't need to exert himself to pursue a means of livelihood, he would rebel and pursue that which is forbidden, and basically we'd tune into our minds and pursue all kinds of sillinesses and either turn to drink and eating. And that's what we saw with the Roman Empire and the Greek Empire: exercise and fitness and body and philosophy. It became their thing, but they were actually very corrupt. And we're seeing absolute echoes of that today. If you saw the interview yesterday, which I'm sure you did, with three of the most eminent presidents of the most Ivy League, MIT, Harvard.
That was
University
the context.
These are it's just literally proof of what we've just learned, that if you've got nothing better to do, just thinking the whole time, you can become obsessed with your thoughts to the point where you're convinced that, your thinking will take you to a place that doesn't make sense anymore. We can see that in weird hyper reality, that what do you call that reality, like an alternative reality that we're living in today, where people can make up any identity for themselves that they want, and that's accepted. As they say, chokhmah bagoim ta'amin. You believe when there's wisdom among the nation. Torah bagoim al ta'amin. When they say that they have Torah, don't believe it. So they might be wise in a certain way, like they have the academic wisdom, but they don't have the moral integrity that comes with learning the Torah and the depth and the anchor that the Torah gives us. And in fact, the only place where we do see that they have an anchor is where they've copied us, where they have the Bible and they have laws that are based on that. But when they start straying away from that, and they turn away from the church or whatever it was that they said, and they have no values anymore, it can lead them into a very odd place. And so this is the reason that Hashem gave us things to do with rules to do them by. So we need to make an effort to make our livelihood, and also boundaries and rules and structure with which we have to earn a livelihood, so that this is the way we do it and this is the way we don't do it. So it's always a test. How far am I going to go in terms of chasing the material world? Or am I only pursuing the material world in order to get to the goal of Emunah and Hashem, understanding that the receiving of any outcome is not ours, it's the process that is ours, so that we feel like co-creators with Hashem. And that's a massive tova, massive favor that Hashem is doing for us. And that is what we studied yesterday. So that was just a recap. And I'm going to go to the commentaries now. Okay. It will become clear if he wishes to serve God or disobey him based on his choice of the means with which to obtain his needs. Okay. Does he choose to acquire his materialistic needs in a manner that is aligned with the laws of the Torah? Or will he approach this endeavor in any way possible, even if he must transgress God's will? So that's like, for example, keeping your shop open on Shabbos, even though you know that Hashem told you not to, because you're like, oh, well, there's no other way my income will come. If I close it on Shabbos, my business will fold. So that view would be a view that's not aligned with God. The Alter Rebbe, Reb Shneur Zalman of Liadi, writes, a person must be happy with his material lot. He's equally happy if he has abundance or not, because he knows that it's all from Hashem. Someone who does not equate these two, the having and the not having, demonstrates that he acts for himself. Wow, that's powerful. He loves himself to the extent that he removes himself from under the authority of God. So that's really deep, because it's basically what it's saying. What Rabbi Zalman of Liadi is not saying you can't want to be wealthy, but he's saying when you attach yourself to that wealthy outcome and say you must have that, you're letting go of the hand of God, where if you're holding God's hand, you will understand that whatever you have, whether it's wealth or not wealth, that you're answered, you can pray for it, but whatever your answer is in that moment, in that day, that is what Hashem wants for you. So when you're starting to equate the not wealth with badness, misfortune, I've not done enough, I must change that thing right now and control it this minute, you're attaching yourself to that frenzy of you're equating this situation with bad and that situation with good, instead of saying, no, it's all one. It's all one. Wherever I am at this moment is exactly where Hashem wants me to be. That's a tough one, actually, but that requires emunah. The reason why he desires a materialistic life is that it makes him feel good. Concerning him, it may be said that it would be better if he were not born, because the main reason man was placed into this world is to test him with physical, material trials, to ascertain what is in his heart. Will he turn to other gods, namely the passions of his body? So when it says other gods, like in the old days, they would worship actual idols. These days, that inclination to serve a piece of stone is gone from the world. But they say avodah zarah now is the obsession with materialistic pursuits, an obsession with technology and addiction to things of material value. That's a form of avodah zarah. So will he turn to other gods, namely the passions of his body, or will his desire remain with God, thereby living a real and meaningful life, knowing that all his experiences are from God himself? Interestingly, I've done this, which is strange. It's called it's the Alcoholics Anonymous 12 Steps. Now, I've never been an alcoholic in my life, fortunately, but I have done the 12 steps. And what I've done the 12 steps about was I belong to a group called CODA. CODA is the Association of Codependents. So it's like Codependents Anonymous. And it's about healthy relationships, and it's about letting go of overthinking. So you can come to this forum if you aren't in a healthy relationship, or you've experienced troubled relationships and you want to learn how to have healthier ones, or if you're addicted to overthinking and overanalyzing or negative thinking. And it takes you through the 12 steps just as if you were an alcoholic. But your alcoholism is a different form, takes a different form. The addiction that I had was to overthinking, to overanalyzing, to obsessing, exactly as it said, the things that are not good for me. And it was the most beautiful journey I've ever taken. It was also one of the most painful and difficult journeys, because it required unattaching yourself from things that you always thought were you, and it turns out they're not. And that unhooking was painful but so liberating, that the reason that I'm bringing that into the shiur here is because all of it's all the 12 steps is based on putting your trust in God and surrendering to God, actual God. So it's all based on, you can't worship two gods at the same time. I think it was Oscar Wilde who said that God, he said, the Hebrew name that we say Ad Hashem, but he called him by that in English. God and Mammon, which means money, are very jealous gods, and they like to be worshipped exclusively. So what he was, it's a very funny line, but basically what he's saying is you can't have both. You can't you can't have an addiction to something and pursue this relentlessly and also believe in God. It's either one or the other. That you either pursue your material life through a desire to come closer to God and through a desire to have the creature comforts that you need in order to pursue that, or you're pursuing it for as an end in itself, which will lead you to addiction, it will lead you to depression, it will lead you to, dependency, which is not healthy. So the answer to everything basically is God. The Alter Rebbe concludes, if a person knows the truth and lives with the belief that everything is truly from God and is inherently good, then the concealment of the good is removed and only revealed good will remain. So that's also extremely powerful. So what's saying is that it's like lifting the veil. When you're only pursuing material goods, you're not only barking up the wrong tree, but the tree is there only to show you who grew that tree. And if you're just there for the tree itself, it's like you're missing the point. You're not realizing who is, like, there's a parent there giving you food and you're biting the hand that feeds you because you don't realize that you're mixing it up. You're thinking the food is what feeds you, but no, it's God, and you're ignoring this beautiful, wonderful being that is nourishing and giving you life and loves you, and you're not seeing it. You're just busy biting the hand that feeds you. So if you understand that everything is truly from God and is inherently good, then Hashem can give you the food that you want. Hashem can give you the wealth that you want. Hashem will give you the life that you want and the relationships that you want if you only see him. If you only see him. And that was directed really at myself today, because I think I needed to hear that, to be honest. Bottom line, if a person knows the truth and lives with the belief that everything is truly from God and is inherently good, then the concealment of the good is removed and only revealed good will remain. And I think that is a very challenging but also very powerful, and I sense it to be true, message about what's happening now today in this darkness, to really find what light we can in the darkness, even if it's the tiniest point of light, We're coming to the first light of Hanukkah. We're lighting one candle. It's the tiniest flame, just one. And that's all we need in the darkness, just one. We're not asked to light all 8 straight away, just one, because the one will spread to another, and the next one will spread to the next one, and it will come. And I think the point is to visualize all 8, to visualize that the light will come, that the hostages will all be freed, that P'duyei Hashem Yeshavun, they will all come home, and that we will all come home. When we say bring them home, let's ask, bring us home, all of us. And in visualizing that and sensing that, we don't need to be insecure. We don't need to be worried or anxious or frightened, because we can hold on to that vision and know that it's on its way. And in the meantime, there is suffering, and we can feel the sadness of the suffering. There's no reason to avoid it. We can't deny it. We're here in this suffering, and we're all challenged, every single one of us. None of us is without challenges. And many of the challenges that I'm hearing about, whether it's my own or my friend, are going through very deep challenges at the moment, challenges with income, challenges with faith, challenges with children, all sorts. And knowing that there is a solution to all of this, there is peace. Peace does wait for us. It is there, it's coming, it's on its way. And knowing that we trust in Hashem, and that we are in the dark, but we can all light a candle. And yeah, that is what I have to say about that. Does anybody want to add anything to it?
I'm not sure if it makes sense. Sorry, I'm driving. But yesterday we said that, we have to recognize, we have to work in order to get results and be part of Hashem, partner for the creation. And Hashem didn't create everything for us, because he could have just given us livelihood without us working, but he wanted us to do some work in order to be partner with him.
Yes.
But in that case, why going into partnership as well, in terms of, yes, we believe in Hashem, we have this bitachon, but going through this sadness. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, yes, I understand about the creation and be partner, but why going through that as well? Why can't it be just?
I feel it's not as well. It's all one thing. I think from my sense of it, and I'm sure Ilana will have a different perspective, but from my perspective, it's just showing us that, there are little worries, sort of. I mean, they're all thrown into perspective now when there are actual children in tunnels and actual people kidnapped, we don't know what's happening to them. We don't even want to imagine what's happening. That is such a huge darkness that it's thrown into relief, that our income worries, that our children worries are smaller than that. But it's all one, it's all darkness. Even the physicality with which a person wakes up in the morning and thinks, oh my gosh, I've got to do this deal and send this email, and if not, then I won't have an income. I won't be able to feed my wife and children, or my children and husband, whatever it is, whichever the dynamic is. But it's all walking in darkness, because it says before Yom Kippur, we say this prayer, B'nai Adam, sons of man, Yoshvei Choshech V'Tzal Mavet, we live in death and in darkness and shadows of death. We're creeping around blindly as if, we're trying to find our way. We're all wading through kind of mud. We don't see light. We don't sense beauty. We're not in Gan Eden. We are in a darkness. So it's all one, the darkness, and it's darker and darker and darker. There was the COVID, and then there was the Ukraine war, and now there's the war at home in Israel. It's just coming very close to home. The darkness is almost overpowering now. What the darkness is a not understanding of what truly is. It's an illusion of that the physical world is actually real. It's not real. The illusion is that our neshama isn't the driving force, and that Hashem isn't really connected with us all the time, looking after us in every moment of every day. So when you ask, why do we have to have this as well? I think it's just coming to a point where you're thinking that it's a new thing, but it's actually not a new thing. This is just showing us so clearly the difference between lightness and darkness, that we have the most tremendous desire for light, There's more desire for light now than there has ever been because it's so dark. And it's that desire for the light, which is the light. And it's that which we must follow. When you're in a very dark tunnel, I remember being in one once in Peru. We were climbing up Machu Picchu and there was this dark tunnel. It's pretty scary. There was a point at which you couldn't even see the light. And we're like fumbling along with our fingers, we couldn't see. And then suddenly there's a light. Phew, like at least you know which way to go. And it's just like that wanting to see the light. It becomes so powerful the more dark it is. And I heard like some of the hostages who were rescued describing how they cried out, Shema Israel. Their voices were shaking, their bodies were shaking with so much kavanah, like in their former lives, they would never have even thought to do that because they weren't so connected, perhaps religiously. And now the darkness was what made them connect to that light. And I'm not saying that, God forbid, I'm not asking for more challenges or more troubles, but I think what I'm sensing from this is our challenge now, and it's not our challenge, it's our job now. We have to think, okay, while we're waiting for the light to come, while there is all this sadness, while there is all this challenge, while there is all this pain and disconnection, what is my job here? What am I supposed to be doing? And my answer to that is to seek the light, to light the candle, and to find the joy in everything we do, just to find a spark of joy that connects us with God. If that is just smiling at our children more, being more considerate to another person, whether it's, I don't know, saying a prayer with a little kavanah and just asking Hashem, we don't understand what you're doing, but we give it to you. We don't know, but you know, please help us. Just those simple things, that's the light. That's where it is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, just I don't know, just hard to
It's really
integrate
hard.
all that.
Yeah. I don't have all the answers, but Hashem does, and that's where Emunah comes in, because we either believe or we don't believe. I mean, yeah, of course we could just say, well, just going to give up. I think human beings, we are creatures of hope. There is something in us that always wants to seek an answer, a solution. I won't say I've come to the ultimate answer that answers everything, because I am deeply sad when I wake up in the morning, and it takes all the strength I have to pray and connect with happiness. And part of my connection with happiness is understanding a little bit more about a perspective that's coming from the side of light. I think there's always two voices on our two shoulders. There's the voice of God. I call it the voice of God, and the voice of Gollum. Gollum from Lord of the Rings. My precious. If I have a thought in my head and I'm not sure, it's confusing, and I want to know, like, is that the right thought that I should be thinking? I visualize, is Gollum saying that or is God saying that? And you can very quickly see, if you turn it into a cartoon, which is the right voice to be listening to. Because it's always the light, the shadow is calling us, and the shadow is going to be stronger. The shadow is going to be our natural tendency to negativity and worry, because it was programmed into us since Gan Eden, since the Nachash, which Nachash to me as a psychotherapeutic coach means the reptilian brain, which is there, the limbic system. It's there to protect us. It's instinct. Our default system is negative. There's a negativity bias. And so our mission and our duty in this world as human beings and not animals is to connect with the light and bring ourselves over to the light. And that is pretty much our sole mission in this world. And that's why we're here. Hashem didn't put us here to torture us. So it is a constant struggle, you're right, and it is hard, you're right, and that's our job. And I think when we do connect with the light, somehow we help the whole world connect with their light. I think that's how it works.
Bezrat Hashem.
Bezrat Hashem. Yeah. I saw a nice meme at the beginning of the war, which I'll repeat to you now because I haven't seen it in a while. It says, somebody put on a wall, Nenatzer ba'aza, in Hebrew. Do you read Hebrew? It's Ayin Zayin Hey, Nenatzer ba'aza, and somebody put on the Aza 2 dashes between the Zayin and the Hey, so that it reads Nenatzer Bezrat Hashem.
Mm. Yeah.
So we got, okay, ladies, that's all from me. Anything
Thank
Elena
you.
wants to add to the conversation or anything further?
Thank you, Shulamit. Happy Hanukkah.
Oh yeah, happy
And
Hanukkah.
yeah, for you too.
Enjoy. And yeah, we'll see.
Thank you. I'm elbow deep in potatoes, so.
Okay, enjoy your luck because I can smell them from here. It smells yum. Do you have them with applesauce or with
Well, neither, because I'm making a dinner. Well, I don't know if they'll go for the applesauce. I could try.
yeah, some people go the savory route and some people, this is like a debate. It's like between
The
the
sour
salmon
cream,
and the
the
cream.
sour
Yeah,
cream,
sour
but
cream.
no, but that's very Israeli. No, but I'm
Lebanon.
having it meaty tonight,
Me too.
so
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Yofi. B'tei
So
avon.
we'll have to just do. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Thank you.
shalom.
Oh no,
Happy
we'll
Hanukkah.
see you tomorrow.
Oh yeah, are we okay to meet tomorrow?
I What think we could do it time?
Okay,
in the morning.
let me stop recording. Hang on.